Hi you guys, I wanted to show you something regarding straight neck summer squash, and it's a problem that happens in my area because we do get rain here in the east and we also get high humidity, and anytime that you get like a rainy summer or a lot of rain in a summer like we did through July was the rainiest July I've ever seen, and our humidity was high, and you will see that a mildew will start on the leaves, okay? And usually you take care of this with a copper fungicide, and I'm currently out of it. But what you want to do is you want to take off with pruners 50% of the leaves. Here's what the leaves look like when the mildew gets to it. You see how it destroys the plant, destroys the leaves? Well, it's because the leaves and the plants get so big and the leaves overlap. Like on this leaf, you can see it coming. Here's a perfect example. If I can get this down into the shade where you can see it. You can see it forming there on the leaf. So you want to trim those off. Now I'll show you here. This is the new growth coming, and it's already starting to get the mildew on it. You can see it. But as I said, these leaves haven't been treated yet. And this is the original plant. Now you don't want to take off more than 50% because I still have flowers here that are producing squash. On the new stalk that went out, you can see that there's more squash coming. And matter of fact, I got one that's a little bigger than I like them to be. I like them to be just a tad smaller than this. But there's a squash right there. I'm gonna let the rest grow. I still have a lot of them coming. Right here is another one coming, right there. And down here, there's a whole bunch of them. A whole bunch of squash coming down here, a whole bunch. Right there. I got some right here coming. And again right here. And then if I go up to the top of this plant, you can see all the flowers here, and look at all these squash. So what you want to do is you want to be able to have airflow going through these plants. When these leaves get really big and they start to overlap like this, that's what traps in the moisture, and the plants don't have enough air around them to breathe, and it just makes this this mildew persist. So that's what I do to keep the plants going, and it also puts more energy into the new growth where you have a bunch of squash coming. See there? So that'll give you a better crop. Now because this bed is so small, next year I'm only going to have 2 plants. My tomatoes are going to go there next year, and then this garden over here is going to greatly increase in size because I'm taking it out into the yard. But tomatoes have not done good this year because these are another thing that are susceptible to mildew. And this soil over here isn't as good as my other garden because this soil, well, this is the first time this bed has been a garden, so it's not as organic. But I'm going to be treating it this fall. I'm going to be conditioning it this fall and getting it ready for the next growing season. And then here is where I'm going to be having my pumpkin patch, because anytime I grow peppers in the ground, they never do that good, and this year was a test to prove my point. When I plant peppers, my green peppers, these are the Bonnie Greenbell. When I plant those in buckets, 5-gallon buckets, which I have in my shed, my peppers get huge and they produce a ton of peppers. And then what I do is I dice them up and I freeze them, as well as sweet onion and stuff like that to put in the freezer, because then in the winter, I cook more in the winter than I do in the summer. Summer is more for grilling out, and that's when I will put it in my soups and stews and things like that. I'm also growing a sunflower because I wanted to get the seeds. The birds actually brought this, so I'm going to collect the seeds this year, and then right along the shed right here I'm going to have a series of these flowers growing, and then I can just tie them back to the shed. And over here will be my squash, and then my tomatoes. I'll have 1 tomato planted in the corner and then another one in a bucket, because I also do patio growing. And you can see in here I got a pepper plant that's growing, and because it was so shaded out by these humongous squash plants, it really didn't do that well. Anytime I plant them in the ground, and these are also Bonnie Greenbelt, anytime I plant them in the ground, even though this soil is very dark and very rich, my peppers don't ever do as good as they do in buckets. And then I grow them over on the other porch. So I just wanted to share that tip with you guys, but don't ever clip more than 50% of the plant's leaves. Always leave 50% on the plant or you'll kill it. But it will promote and generate the new growth, and you'll eliminate some of the mildew. But you can also treat this during the growing season with copper fungicide. So I've had a very good crop of squash. We've given a ton of it away. We've cooked a bunch of it. We've given it to friends and neighbors. So always does really well. But that's what I mean, having property to grow as much food as I want to, whether it be planted in the ground or done in buckets. When I do the buckets here, I have some sitting down here on the patio pavers, then they go up the steps, and then I also have them on the deck. So that's where the majority of the tomatoes and the peppers will be growing next year like I did last year. I just took a bunch of strawberries off of these today. You can see there's another one right in there. This thing has been producing really big strawberries. Some of them have been really, really big, and the majority of them are in the house right now. But yeah, I like doing patio growing as well as planting in the ground. So just thought I'd share that tip with you guys if you're new to growing squash. Next year is going to be the growing season for sure, because I'm going to be growing a lot in the gardens next year. I got my tiller in the shed, and this fall I'm going to be producing the beds, and then I'm going to be bringing in my grass clippings as well as the leaves that I rake up from the trees around the house. I'm going to be putting the leaves on the beds, and I got some really good organic soil way out back where I go with the tractor to dump. So I'll be adding a lot of that. Thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you again. Bye-bye.